Welcome to Beyond Adjustments, the podcast where we explore the art and science of chiropractic care and how it's reshaping lives, sometimes quite literally. I'm your host, Amin Saeed, and today we're back at it with a special guest who knows how to crack both backs and expectations. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Joining us is Dr. Arminta Phelps, founder of Achieve Balance Chiropractic in Columbia, Missouri. Dr. Phelps is a trailblazer in innovative techniques like thermography, laser therapy, and she's passionate about helping her patients achieve true balance. So grab your favorite ergonomic chair, don't look at mine, and settle in. This episode is going to be spine-tastic. Again, I'm sorry. The dad jokes are probably going to keep coming. This is going to be an amazing show, guys. Cue that music. Dr. Arminta, welcome to Beyond Adjustments. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I can't wait to highlight, man, your practice, what you've been doing, just your years of experience. I'm so excited. And just without further ado, I'm just going to jump right in. So what I'd like to do on our show is talk a little bit about your journey. I like to understand your why, your heart, just the reason for what you do and why you do it. So first question, what drew you to chiropractic really to begin with? Like, what was the defining moment, or was there one? Was it an accumulation of things that really you just kind of said, okay, I know this is my calling?
Okay. So I had a really interesting experience with this. I really believe that our steps are ordered, and where we land in life is not an accident, that it's like a calling that is on purpose, that you're following something that's in front of you in some form or fashion. And I was in college, biology degree, knew I wanted to help people with health in some form or fashion. Started off with nursing, and that really wasn't what I needed to do or wanted to do. And I was getting ready to graduate and kind of was just lost. College was a lot of fun for me. I was like there for the social part of it. And then it got to the end and I'm like, oh, I got to do something here.
What do I do?
Right. And I was working at a restaurant and tweaked my neck. It happened to be that one of the gentlemen that I was serving tables with was a chiropractor that had recently graduated from Palmer, getting ready to open his practice in a local town that was close by. And so what do? I go, you hurt your neck, you go to the chiropractor, because that's what I understood it to be at that time. And he just cracked my view open, and he told me about the wisdom of the body and how our bodies are created to heal from the inside out, and really the paradigm and the philosophy and the root of the chiropractic profession. And that really triggered me to get more excited and more curious about it. And so I was like, let's look into this. And it was like from that moment on, God was just like shoving you through this door that you couldn't, it was like, it happened so fast. From that time that I hurt myself to the time I actually moved to Iowa was 6 months. So I had so close to the credit hours that I needed for minimum requirements for chiropractic that I wasn't even really working towards. And, bada boom, bada bing. And so I didn't know if that was my calling at that point, but it sounded like a really good idea. And I packed my stuff, moved to Iowa because I was like, let's go 4 more years of college. This can't be bad, right? And so I got there, and about 4 days, I believe it was 4 days prior to my orientation and my first day of my first trimester in chiropractic college, my mom called. And she had a very serious tone about her. And through the conversation, she had told me that she had started falling, was having some memory issues. She would have some like foot drag on her right-hand side, major fatigue. And through that process, she had recently found out she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And she didn't really tell us until she was in diagnosis and like had the doctor's appointment. We didn't know she was going through any of this. And, so at that point I didn't understand what I understand now, to the fullest. And I said, well, what are you going to do? What do the doctors want to do? And she was strong enough in her gut instinct that she wasn't comfortable doing what the doctors told her to do. They had a drug A and a drug B that they put on this, sterile metal tray and wheeled into this room and told her that she would have to inject herself in the abdomen with either one A or B for the rest of her life. And it might work and it might not. And there's going to be side effects. And, and she just really, her whole system went, whoa, hold on, let me go think about this. Let me talk to my family about this. And so lo and behold, we both had a moment in that phone call that I said, well, why don't we try chiropractic? Because you hear all of these miracle stories, and that's really what drove me into the profession, is all of these little short miracle stories of like Harvey Lillard, the first chiropractic adjustment, he restored hearing with like that. And, the second chiropractic adjustment was, restored somebody's heart palpitation rhythms. It's never musculoskeletal neck pain, back pain until we really started to try to play in a sandbox that we were really never meant to play in. And through knowing that now and having my mom walk through chiropractic, the whole paradigm of chiropractic, the nervous system and the brain-body connection being the utmost cornerstone of it, but also supporting that intelligence within her body with proper nutrition so she have good cellular health and proper motion so she could have good cellular health and mitochondrial function, and that she could actually think more clearly because she was thinking about what she was thinking about and putting the lifestyle together around her to give her body the capacity to actually heal. And we started to do that through the chiropractor that got me into chiropractic college, Jeremy Maxwell. I will forever be grateful for you. And her determination to take control of something that she can actually take control of. Yeah. And we're 20 years past that diagnosis, and she has never taken a drug for her MS. She is healthier now at 72 years old than she was at 52 years old. Oh. She lifts weights 4 days a week at a facility that trains our athletes for our local Mizzou college. I mean, this place is not it's not a geriatric gym. And she chiropractic saved her life. Oh man. And that I knew it at that moment when we were on that phone. I was like, if this thing doesn't save my mother, you can have the chiropractic back because I don't want it. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I saw she stopped falling and she started having more energy. Man. And she totally transformed. Look at this. And I just knew that I knew that this was why I was born, why I was put on this earth was to be a facilitator in this profession and be a connector of innate intelligence. And it's been a ride. It's been such a gift. It's amazing. There's been challenges along the way, but it's been such a gift. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, nothing good, nothing impactful, or even miraculous comes easy, in my opinion. I love your story, Dr. Arminta. Thank you. Honestly, thank you really for sharing that. I literally, the entire time you were talking, once you started talking about your mom, I couldn't stop getting the chills. It's just, I love stories like that. We're a walking story of that. I can't wait to tell my kids' miraculous story on the other side of this. And in fact, I'm seeing miracles today because of the treatment that they're getting. I probably mentioned this to you because I literally tell every person I come into contact with, but my son's curve, he has scoliosis. His curve went from 40 to I think he improved 14 degrees in a matter of a month. That's awesome. So the fact that we're just not
running to the hilltops and telling everybody about chiropractic care, and not just for like back pain and all that, but just as general health care, right? Let's look at our nervous system as literally the epicenter of it all. And if we do that, look at the results.
Well, I mean, let's call a spade and talk about that, because we tell our, population, let's get your teeth checked. Let's get your, your male and female organs checked.
Right.
Let's get your breast health checked. All for purposes of screening, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the system that controls those systems?
Yes.
Nobody talks about that.
Nobody
talks about that. You need to,
no one does.
Check it. It's not about, we might not even need to do anything to it as the beauty part of it. Can we get to the point where we don't have to know when to adjust and to know where not to adjust? It's powerful.
Yes, so powerful.
With our world out there, with how crazy stressful it is and the continuous amount of pressure, our nervous systems require chiropractic care to optimize. It can't be done without it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartely. Hence why we're here today, because I literally want to teach everybody about chiropractic.
I love that.
I think it's very important. I mean, heck, I built my business around it. I mean, what more do you want from there? But all right, so I can't get over your story. I'm so taken back. But we got to move on. So you went to college. You said Palmer, right? Is that where you ended up?
Yep.
You completed your studies. So did you actually open up your practice right after, or did you work as an associate somewhere? How did that work?
I did. This is another, I don't know. My story is just really an interesting, the jump off is interesting. So, there's a couple things that can happen in chiropractic college, that they warn the incoming freshman, you're either going to get married, you're going to get divorced, or you're going to get pregnant. And so, I got pregnant when I was at chiropractic college at the end of chiropractic college. And so when I graduated, I was 9 months pregnant. I walked across the stage, and then 2 weeks later, I gave birth to my son.
Wow. Okay.
And so it was a really tight window right there. But I knew that God wanted me to go all in, to just dive all in. There was just never a gut intuition to work for somebody else, because I had this mission, I had this burn, this desire to really hone in, and so that's what I had decided to do. The gentleman that is Jack, my son's father, he just never came with us, so it was just me and Jackson going back home here to Columbia, with a dream and really a prayer and an immense amount of pressure. You leave chiropractic college, you put $250,000 in debt. Driving a beat up Honda Accord that's got rust on the edges of it. And, trying to ask these banks for money to open a practice. And, God bless them, because they probably did exactly what they were supposed to do. But I didn't get any money from any banks. They were like, well, what does your husband do? And as soon as they found out it was just me and the baby, they're like, out with you. No, that's too big of a liability. So, my mother, again, here's another angel story. She steps in and she puts her house on a second mortgage.
Wow.
Or refinances it, or however she ended up doing that to come up with the seed money for our practice, because she understood how much it changes people's lives. That she's like, you can do this. Let's go and do this. And within a couple of weeks, she actually quit her job and started to work as my chiropractic assistant. So it was just me and her to jump things off, and, and little Jackson, cool. In a bucket seat, and, the grind began, and here we go. And and then it's been a wild journey since then, but it's just really gained momentum, and we have done some amazing things over the last, 17 years now.
I'm sure you have. The stories that start with such I would say rough beginning, hard beginning, make the most impact. And I see that in you, Dr. Arminta. I see your thriving practice now, the amount of people that you've helped over the years, and the fact that you just had the guts to do what you did, not for nothing. Okay, let's set aside your story. Let's set aside the fact that it was just you and Jackson. Okay, people without that hard, rough beginning have a hard enough time making the decision of opening up a business to begin with. Now, add those layers of complexity to your life, and the fact that you pushed through that, I really do believe God used that to propel you forward. So the fact that you stuck through, the fact that you got nose, N-O-S, nose, thrown at your face when it came to funding your practice, and you kept going, and the fact that you had the support that you needed and you kept going shows your tenacity, shows the fact that you were doing this because you believed in what you were about to endeavor. So, I mean, amazing. I love your story. Just, I mean, again, we have to move on, but wow. Thank you. Thank you for sticking to it. Thank you for just being the pillar that you are in the chiropractic community. Yeah, no, thank you. All right. Wow. You're making it really hard for me to go from segment to segment. This is just not cool. You got to stop. All right. So let's talk a little bit about technology, the specialized care of your practice. So you offer advanced techniques, right? Like I mentioned in the opening, thermography, you got laser therapy, food sensitivity testing. I mean, chiropractic alone does amazing things. But the fact that you're including kind of these up and coming things, or even technologies that have been around for years that chiropractors aren't including, I'm just curious, like, do you think these therapies or disciplines or whatever you call them, do you think they make a bigger difference in chiropractic? Is it complementary? Does it set you apart from the other practices around you? Like, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, each of them were added in for just unique purposes on their own accord. So obviously I'm a principal chiropractor, and the core of the core is nervous system, brain-body connection, but we can't ignore the wellness aspect, and the space that we can hold in the wellness arena is so much larger, that if we don't take the space, it's going to get filled up with something outside in or a principle, in my opinion. And so Billy DeMoss, he's a chiropractor out of Southern California. He puts on a big chiropractic conference called CalGym every year. And me and him met at a couple of conferences, and he just really inspired me and taught me to think bigger and to think outside of the realm of just the adjustment. And so he introduced me to thermography originally. If we're going to talk about that particular technology.
Yeah, if we can, actually.
And that one just is like, we're in the epicenter of our state's medical world here at in our community. We have the University of Missouri here, which has got a hospital associated with it. That's just mega. People come all over the state to go to the hospital. We have a VA here. There's just a lot of medical components here, but there's no other supportive help in that arena. You have, mammograms, which is your gold standard in that industry. And I just think that can we have another option that checks and detects physiological changes prior to disease processes beginning? And so can we check it and get it before it becomes can we get the dysfunction of the body to be recognized before what I would consider as dis-ease settles in to the system? So is there some kind of lymphatic stagnation? Is there some kind of inflammatory response? Is there some form of, thermographic dysfunction happening? Can that point us to knowing more information about our body, thus being able to be more preventative or proactive towards it instead of reactive towards the sickness that's going to potentially come in maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years when it's a monster, And we saw this gap, and
Mm.
I just wanted to fill the gap. And we don't even do it, so I can't even take credit. I have to give credit to our organization that we partner with is Medical Thermography of St. Louis, and they come
Okay.
to our office once a month and have these clinics where
Mm.
they bring their cameras and they bring their tools to do these screenings to allow our information to be widened in our area.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great. It comes with this great report. It goes beyond the breast tissue. You can do full body, half body, whole body. It's really fascinating stuff.
I was gonna ask, like, what kind of what kind of things have you seen specifically with thermography results? Like, how has that helped you kind of maybe diagnose might not be the right word, but maybe create a care plan for a patient from that?
Well, from those, we typically don't create a specific care plan for it unless they're already a current patient. Then they'll get that report sent to me, and I can take the myofascial things or the pro-inflammatory things with organ function and say, hey, we might want to get some blood work done about this. Oh, let's pay attention to that area. That might be a new subluxation pattern that we have going
Got
on.
it.
When it comes to the internal tissue, some of the stuff that we've seen is really interesting. So we found some cysts on a liver. So we had some thermographic reading in the upper right quadrant of an abdomen, and that indicated that we had some cyst formation on the liver that led to an ultrasound and led to some other different supplement changes by a functional medicine doctor. So to help the liver before it turned into something that it didn't need to be.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
We've seen guttural issues. We've seen, issues with like endometriosis. Thyroid shows up frequently. Periodontal issues will show up frequently. So if like somebody's got
Really?
some form of like abscess from a root canal that they might not even know that there's a festering infection up there, they can see it happening with their thermographic scans. Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love that. Wow, that's so cool. I actually have never heard of thermography, and I've interviewed quite a few chiropractors up until now, and I've learned about a lot of different techniques or technologies. This is not one that's come up in our conversation, so I love that. Like laser therapy is familiar to me, but actually I get laser therapy done on my knees. It's amazing stuff. I love it. But so learning about these and the fact that I call myself the chiropractic enthusiast.
I love that. You need those.
Because I'm not a chiropractor, but I'm willing to kind of jump in and try these things. Like if my doctor is telling me, hey, this is going to benefit you, we've already formed this trust relationship where I'm like, all right, he's not going to just throw something at me just so he can make a buck. There's something behind this. Let me, and I trust that. You have patients that walk into your door that don't know you from Eve, right? And you have all these technologies. How would you kind of educate them on the benefits? Maybe do you explain the technology itself? Because obviously the person walking into this needs to feel confident enough that, hey, they're not going to be prodding and probing me and sending my stuff out to a lab so that they can clone me or whatever. But just like, how do you educate your patients? Is it through social platforms? Is it at your office? Like, can you kind of dig a little deeper into that?
So some of these are like the laser therapy, food sensitivity. Those are sometimes written into care plans. We have a lot of that written on our intake forms. Like if you're interested in that, like we have a section for like gut health and things along those lines on our intake forms. And so that's where they will check if they're interested in food sensitivity. Well, for the thermography, we have like a TV in our office that will rotate testimonial stories and videos and, other services that we offer. And the thermography always goes up on that. The thermography gets brought up on our social media platforms quite often. And then we just have an open bay area in our office where it gives us an opportunity to really teach in a large perspective to our clients and our patients while you're it's meant for one, but multiple people can hear it at the same time. So we spend a lot of educating on, thermography, supplements, soft tissue regeneration, that kind of thing within the Bay Area.
Love that. Love that. I'd actually love a few pictures of your office. Maybe I can just kind of flash a couple pics during this podcast up on the screen. It'd be nice for people to see what you're referring to. So
absolutely, I can that to you.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. All right. So I love that a lot of chiropractors today are focusing on kids, and they're focusing on the prenatal aspect or patient, I should say, because I think that is a really huge missed opportunity for a healthier tomorrow for a particular patient. You treat kids, you treat expectant moms. How do you make sure that they're comfortable, that they're safe during their treatment? Because it's one thing to treat a big gut unhealthy adult like myself. You can crack me, do whatever you want, but for a child, it's different. For an expectant mom, they're worried about their womb, their child that they're growing. How do you make them feel safe during their treatment?
I think that it comes with your first interaction with them. I know a lot of time it comes with the ability to be really authentic, be need to them. What are their needs, wants, desires, stuckness, apprehensions that they might have, and just address it head on, a conversation so that they know what to expect. People don't get upset about things that they get upset when their expectations aren't met. So can we fulfill what that's going to look like prior to them receiving it, so that they can feel safe and feel comfortable in that aspect? Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah, it does. It does. So it's also you getting down to their level, I would assume, like making that connection, creating that trust relationship with them.
Just like we had somebody in, a practice member in yesterday, and me and Dr. Alice, he's my associate doctor in the office, like my right-hand guy, and I love him so much. He was playing with baby on the ground while I was adjusting mom, and just the ability for us to work together cohesively as a team to be able to put the person that we're caring for right in the center of us. It was just really just one of our little special moments that we had yesterday that we were able to, talk about at post huddle and reflect upon about why that's so magical and so powerful. Well, Caitlin, our front desk, she got a picture of it, and just the connectedness and the, and like it's getting down on their level. We're on the floor, we're playing with them there, we're adjusting them in the kids area. We're not making a child do things that they don't want to do. I just think that kind of energy is not, that's not what we put out when it comes to caring for children in our office. If they're a no that day, they're a no that day. And sometimes we have to take some time to warm up with one another and get to know one another and meet that little baby where they are. If they're an infant, they're pretty much there. But, when we're talking about toddlers and, young children,
they're more aware.
It's just definitely you don't want, our job is to tone their nervous systems down, not up. And so can we come at them and see where they're at and be able to really read the room with them? Can we do that in an open bay if they're comfortable with it, if that's more comfortable for them? Can we put them in a private room? If that more comfortable, can we go to the children's area where there's games and coloring books and do it there? How do we fit them? How can we be in their perspective, instead of it's just going through our motions?
So then it's no surprise to me then why you have such incredible patient testimonials. I was skimming through that. I mean, the stories upon stories, just amazing, honestly. And it's a testament to how you are connecting with your patients one-on-one individually. So getting these testimonials is one thing. because I believe when you do the right thing by one patient, that patient is going to want to go out and tell the world. So that in itself is its own kind of growth mechanism for your business specifically. Them just kind of sharing their experience with their loved ones, their friends, their circle. But outside of that kind of natural growth of your practice, because of those patient testimonials, how have those stories helped your practice grow?
You can use them as references for when you're out doing. So I speak a lot. I go out and I do like presentations at events, whether it's a sponsorship presentation or whether it's a lunch and learn at a bank or a dental office or things along those lines. And using the stories from our patient base and the miracles that we've been able to witness and just be blessed to be part of, that changes the perspective of the people that we're speaking to. Can we get them to widen their lens on what chiropractic actually looks like? Can we get them to be pre-educated about how chiropractic is in our office? And it's not the neck pain, back pain, let's lay you on the table, crack your back right here, doc, where I hurt kind of office. That that we're going to look at you as a whole, as an entire individual, and not just the parts of you that hurt. And if you don't hurt, it doesn't mean that there's not room at the table for you to optimize and be better than what you actually are.
Right.
Because, you know, like that out of pain baseline, like that boring, like so boring. Like, can we get out of that? Like, what can we have, you know, if we're lucky, you know, 85 years on this planet, right? And in the way that our health, in our, you know, the toxicity levels pushes that down. Or I don't know about you, I'm living to 100 and plus, but you know, that just doesn't happen as often. And like, how can we get people to be hungry for that? And not just living there, but thriving there. Like thriving in their graceful age.
Yeah. Well, that's where education comes in, because I mean, our society, America, I'm sorry, but America in general, is pumped with all this information for like years and years and years, and people just take it for truth. And we're just kind of taking all this, even like the medical industry, you know, yes, there's doctors out there that do amazing stuff. Nobody's knocking the doctors that really care for their patients and want what's right for them. There's a place for that. But outside of that, there's this market of just pushing medicine and pushing this kind of mindset of fix it when you're hurt mentality. It leaks into everything else. It's like, I'm not going to go to the dentist until my tooth hurts, right? Yeah, they try, get regular checkups, but who actually goes and gets regular checkups? Nobody, until they have to actually do something about it. And once we frame that mindset, that mentality of, look, it's all about being preventative, right? Don't like just try to correct something. Try to prevent it. Why have back pain in your 40s? Like I personally started late. And if I didn't, I would be in better health than I am today. I mean, my chiropractic journey helped me in my weight loss journey too. I was a big boy, Dr. Arminta. I was a big boy. I was like, you know, like around, like probably close to 325, 330 pounds. I've lost over 100 pounds since I started my chiropractic journey. So that in and of itself, the fact that you can get yourself back to health through this is just, it's mind-boggling that people don't just kind of jump on this bandwagon. And it all starts with education, right? So beyond that chiropractic care piece, your practice, you focus on that wellness education. You focus on that proactive health. How do you encourage patients to really maintain healthy habits outside of your office once they leave?
Well, this takes place, it's a day in and day out, continuous, like broken record. How much water are you drinking? When's the last time you did something for yourself? When's the last time, like, what kind of nutrition are you putting in your body? hey, here's a book and a resource that I just started to learn from. I think this is really great. I think that you should probably listen to this book. Hey, here's another book or a podcast that I think that you should listen to. Because I don't need them to hear all of the information from me. Sometimes that helps validate it when they're hearing it from like this big, more, like if I get somebody that wants to listen to like an Andrew Huberman or, like a Peter Attia or somebody along those lines like that, has a way bigger platform than we have and just has great content, like great, applicable, level, boots on the ground content. And that's the stuff that I get excited about hearing. Like things that are good ideas, but can you give me an application? Can I do A, B, and C? Because I don't have time to try to do it. And that's a lot of the people's things is they like, give me one thing, and then can we start getting good at one thing, and then we can add in another thing and start getting good at that thing. So we focus a ton on water, supplementation, eating food that's real. I tell people if your food doesn't rot, then you will. It's just it's just over and over again.
I love that actually.
Because it's the same principles, Eat well, move well, think well. Chiropractic. Eat well, move well, think well. Chiropractic, or I should say chiropractic. Eat well, move well, think well. Because that is really, if you get the brain and the body connected and you get the nervous system to be in harmony and balance, and then you start to feed those cells, whole
new world.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like people
it's
don't
Aladdin
even
all over
know.
again.
They don't even know what, like, because their cells are so starved of just even proper, like, minerals to allow the proper hydration in and out of the cell. Like, just the potential out there is so like, and once they start to feel it, then they're like, give me more.
And they know.
Give me more.
Yeah.
What can I do next? And that's when it gets exciting. And like the people that hear it are ready to hear it. And the people that aren't, they're just not, I have like, that's a thing that you have to get a hold of in this profession is like, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink it. Your job's just to like knock on the door. Your house is on fire. But there's so many houses on fire that I can't stay here and keep knocking on your door. I got to go to the next house and knock on that door because the house is on fire.
More true. Yeah, I get that. Totally get that. I see it in my own life with the people around me. We talk about this stuff all the time. I recommend chiropractic care, and it's this mentality and culture of having something. It's that immediate satisfaction. They want something today. Amazon doesn't help, right? You can order something and get it in an hour.
That instant gratification is really
it's
a pitfall.
It is detrimental for our health, and I see it. Again. I lived it, and to be completely transparent and honest, I still at times live it today, because it's not easy to go that route. When there's a long-term benefit of something and you don't see it right away, kind of like exercise, right? Once when I started weightlifting again, I was a gymnast and a weightlifter in high school, and I stopped that for a long time. Once I started again, I didn't see the benefit, but when you keep going and you keep it in front of you and you go I'm pointing like this because my weight bench is right there, but like you guys can see it. But if you take that out of the equation, that immediate kind of satisfaction that I can have this now, the click and obtain mentality, and you really think longer term for your health, that's when things start to work out. I had somebody in my life who ended up having surgery on their back, which I hate so much for them, but they went to chiropractic care. They went once, they went twice. They're like, this is not for me. Really? Just give it like 2 weeks. How about that? 2 weeks. Just give it 2 weeks. And even that is too long for some people, but it's unfortunate. Like you said, you can lead a horse to water, but can't force them to drink. So,
and I think that it's really important for chiropractors to understand that they have to give, we should be giving some care recommendations for our clients and our patients. Not just like, oh, let's just crack your back and I'll see you when I see you. That really doesn't do person that's in front of you any kind of justice.
Any
to
justice,
be able to remove that pattern off of their nervous system. It really inhibits their full expression. And you're doing that out of your own fear of what people think about you instead of doing it out of what's right for the patient. So I think that it's really important for us to if we look at literature and the research that is really, unfortunately, not enough of within our profession about care plans and writing care plans. They say 12 visits is the minimum. The average PVA in the United States is like 8 or something crazy like that. So just making sure that we give them the opportunity and hold our authority of like, nope, I need to see you 3 times a week for the next at least 2 or 3 weeks. Can I get a month out of it? We can really start to change the physiology because it is a process. It didn't take you, this didn't happen overnight. This has been a process for you to get here. It's going to take a process for us to undo it.
Agreed. 100%. So true. So true. So true. I love that. Well, what's been the hardest part of scaling your practice? So obviously there's the patient experience. You keep that personal. It's hard to manage the two. In my opinion, I've never had to do it, but I just know making that personal connection with someone and maintaining it's hard. How do you solve for that?
I think that, so scaling wise, the thing that helped us the biggest as far as scaling and going to the next levels when we added in Dr. Alex. He's been with me for 8 years now. So we've been doing this for a while together. That was one of our biggest jumps of an ability to be able to serve, because there's only so many bodies that you can put your hands on in a week-long period of time without trashing yourself. Like, I want to do this when I'm old. And I'm a bone mover. I'm an adjuster. I get physical with my patients. It's just part of how I take care of it. One of the techniques that I used in my office. So I think that making sure that we had some extra support come in, and I don't know how God blessed us so much with Dr. Alex, but he really, this gentleman is just a fantastic doctor. He's got a great personality. He's got a great family. It's just, we really, was just a huge blessing for our entire office and the community as a whole, in my opinion.
Love that.
And then we've hired other associate docs along the way. Gone from a 2-doc crew to a 3-doc crew, back to a 2-doc crew, back to a 3-doc crew. Now we're back to a 2-doc crew. Kind of it's just the ebb and flow of owning a practice, bringing in students, and being able to let them find out what's good for them on their journey of getting launched into this profession. And so those have been the biggest things as far as that goes. And then the momentum that we created or that happened within our community in the last several years has been pretty overwhelming. I've been recognized for several different awards throughout in our community, and that's been something that I think has really been a trajectory push for us, and a way for us to gain major brand recognition within our community.
So cool. All right, this is the part where this is one of my favorite parts of my show, where we talk a little bit about the business. We talk about the marketing of your practice, because I've mentioned to you that our show spans both audiences, chiropractors and patients like myself. So I like to teach both aspects. Right. So if we can kind of jump into that a little bit, I might geek out. You might have to wave me down and tell me to shut up. But so let's talk a little bit about that, right? Let's talk about, it's no secret you have a successful practice. You've obviously done something right. So building that requires effective marketing at the end of the day. So what strategies, and if any, really, some chiropractors are telling me, no, it's all word of mouth. Great. But what worked for you specifically, like for growing Achieve Balance Chiropractic specifically? What worked for you?
Well, on boots on the ground, like do level type stuff, the referrals are definitely a huge part. You know, you do something good and you create a safe place for people to experience as something good, they're usually going to tell people about it. Over the years, we've done so many different, avenues of marketing. We've done, talks and trainings. We've done workshops within our own office, whether they be for chiropractic informational workshops to nutrition, sleep better, eat better, you move better, stress management, summertime health tips, winter wellness, whatever it may be. So we have a variety of different topics that we can teach on for the audiences that we have. So that's a big one. And so we've done those in-house, but we also go out and we do them without different like locations within Columbia. We go to banks, we go to dentists, we go to or different corporations and organizations, and we've set up talks. I set up health fairs for companies. We used to work with this big organization in chiropractic to help us do that. But once we started to know how to do it ourselves and created the recognition of that within our community, we just keep that trickle effect going. It actually landed us a really amazing opportunity for working with a particular company here in Columbia that's based in Columbia, but it's actually one of the largest tech companies in the world right now. And we go in monthly to their facility and take care of their patients with chiropractic care or their employees with chiropractic care, as well as do lunch and learn education for them as well. So they
so good.
It's been a really cool opportunity to be boots on the ground in a corporate setting. So that's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot about how to refine and do that better over the couple of years that we've been doing it. Other things that we do like a dinner with a doc. We're getting ready to do a Gallon Spines event in our office that will be like a spin-off of Galentine's. We're going to do a food cooking demonstration with a local CSA here in our area. And she's going to talk about cooking in the seasons. And then we're going to have some biodynamic and organic wine available for tasting and testing and drinking. And then I'm going to do a talk about, what we do above, down, inside out, nutrition and movement. And then helping people be as healthy as possible naturally. Because you can still eat really good, but be healthy. You can still indulge in some wine and do it a bit more healthy. So how can you, have your cake and eat it too in terms of that kind of stuff. That's our big one coming up. And then we're really highly involved in our Chamber of Commerce here in Columbia. We have a great chamber. And so we do sponsorship events with them and committees and things along those lines with them so that we can be top of mind.
I absolutely love how involved you are with your community. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Your footprint is what we'll call it a 7-mile radius, right? Like, I love that. It takes legwork. It takes patience. It takes, shaking hands, kissing babies situation.
You know it.
So I really do love that. So, I mean, you've partnered with, local businesses, corporations, larger corporations. You've done your workshops. Going from place to place, different environments, different people, different ways of kind of expressing and teaching and showing who you are. How does that strengthen your brand? Does that make it difficult? Is it hard to kind of keep up with who you said what to, or do you just literally have a baseline? Because, and I'm asking this for a reason, right? So I teach brand management. It's all about the core, right? Not the core, but the core of your business. And once you have that all straightened out, it's easy to go to these places and speak, right? So has this connection to the communities and businesses and workshops, has it helped strengthen your brand, would you say?
I think absolutely it helps strengthen our brand, because
Okay.
our principles are our principles. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we do it.
Mm,
There is another option outside of um, more invasive. Like, can we look at, if you're having migraines, can we look at your cervical spine instead of looking at tokamak,
right.
or things along those lines? And just having that conversation back and forth. We've been doing this for a long time now, and it's now, I think, starting to take off as some more popular, components that people actually being conscious of, like, oh, maybe that red dye is not so good for me anymore. Or maybe I should think about not putting seed oil in my body and things along those lines.
Mm,
This whole social media and like content creation that has happened in our world over the last decade has been so good for
mm,
opportunities for natural health
mm-hmm.
and holistic health to be brought up to the rightful place that they actually should be.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up because I actually want to go back just a little bit, and talk about your digital marketing. You're out there. I see you. I checked your stuff out. And there's a balance, right?
Mhm.
In my opinion, at least from what I've learned and what I see between that and in-person community outreach. How do you balance that, the two?
What's interesting is we put a lot of good legwork into the digital marketing in the past. We've had several different, brand companies that we've worked with in the past. We've learned a lot from
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
In the last, I would think about 2 years, we haven't done any Facebook ad marketing or Instagram, Facebook marketing. Our back end got hacked and we got taken out, and that
Oh,
has stopped us from our ability to do so on that platform. And
mm,
it really wasn't. It was becoming less fruitful and less fruitful. And we just never really did that. My
mm,
husband is taking some lead on looking into those kind of things. But some of the things that we've done in the past, as like, I think that it's really again about like continuously putting your story out there. Like, we do
yeah.
like reels, we put content up, we put adjusting videos up. Um, that way, it's like continuously out there. Can our team
Yeah.
share it? Can I share it?
Right.
Can it be exponentiated across that
Sure.
platform? Even if
Yeah.
it's not in an ad form, it's still there.
Yeah. That's good. So I agree, with your approach. I love that because there's a balance, and I think you can take your community outreach and use it within your digital footprint, as well. You can cut up that information. You can share your pictures, maybe even record yourself doing it, and then cut up that information, put it out on YouTube. Guys, and I'm speaking to all the DCs right now. It's not that hard, and you're hearing it from somebody that who's living is that you could do it yourself. Just put the work into it. Honestly, I just want you guys to grow your practice. At the end of the day, just be consistent. You know, pick 1, 2 platforms, stick to that. If you're already doing community outreaches, you can use that. Even something as simple as you setting up a table somewhere, and talking to your community, recording that even is content. Because guess what's going to happen there? You're going to have conversations with potential patients. You're going to have people coming up to you and asking you questions about your practice. And you're going to be answering those questions. Guess what? That person is not the only one that has questions about your practice. And probably another 150 people have the same exact question. So it's good. It's good information. Put it out there. Pick a platform. You'll definitely see the benefit of it. So thank you for that, Dr. Arminta. I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right. So marketing for a chiropractic practice, I would say, involves more than just getting patients in the door. It's about keeping them engaged. How have you explored or thought about using more digital tools. You've set them aside for a little while, at least the ads you have,
Right.
or automated systems to really help nurture the relationship with patients between visits.
Right. Well, we have an email blast that goes out to all of our patient content individuals that are on our email list. And so we do blogs routinely, what's going on in our office, where's Dr. Arminta going to be at in the next, month, close dates, open dates, that kind of stuff. Will go out,
Sure.
blanket information. And then that's one of the ways that we've, engaged our current clientele in
Sure.
that. We invite people to like our Facebook page so they can see the events going on. Having continuous events and trickle stuff to them at least once a quarter is, I think, really impactful. So how do we get our current patients to come hear the message again? Because let's be honest, we can hear this message over and over and over again, and we can get something new out of it every single time you hear it.
Yeah.
So can they come and hear it again to re-solidify it? Can they bring a friend who might need it?
Yeah.
And so that's a big one that we do. Within the digital world, it is really all with social media again. We record videos for Caitlin. Caitlin does a lot of our posting of reels and clicking and making sure it's all pretty and on brand and all the things. And she's just got a system about that. We do a record day once a quarter where we go and record a list of video content, change clothes in between our video shoots. And then she's got a lot of content to go out with. But I love this idea of recording while people are at the booth. And we could do that even in the bays of our, in our area.
Exactly.
Let's turn on a camera and put a mic on me and let's see what happens. Because really,
Perfect.
it is so innately, it just comes out of me. I'm here it is. It just is, it's just part of the day in, day out breath of what we do when we drop in and we are in the adjustatorium area in our office.
Yeah. One recommendation there, if you're going to use it in the bays, don't just get a verbal agreement from your patients to use that content. They'd have to sign a piece of paper. Not that your patients would ever do anything.
No, that's a great thing. We have everybody find social media releases in our office.
Yeah, just a recommendation to those listening. And so that's good. That's really good. So what role do you see technology playing in the kind of the chiropractic industry to improve retention, communication, etc.?
Well, we just know it's not going anywhere. That is an opportunity for us to get our stories out and our message out. And can we use it without it changing our net income to a gross level? I think that, can you find a good system that's not going to be cost outrageous amounts of money while you're still getting your content out there is, a big one. So making sure that, you are excited about what you're speaking about, that you're fully educated on what you're speaking about, and that you have the connection to the person that you're giving that information to so that they can understand that you're really authentic in giving them the information. It's not just, I'm not just doing this for marketing, that I'm actually doing it because I care and I want you to be better. And if you take this advice, and if I never even see you or meet you and you take this advice, you're better for it.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. So a couple of things just popped into my mind. One, that resonates big time with me specifically because I speak to chiropractors all the time, and it's really hard to get past that wall because you're another sales guy. You're just another guy that's trying to get their business. It's hard for them to see my heart and what I do. So I get that. And it really is the same for any profession, for chiropractors alike, because you don't want to come off as this just somebody trying to get people through the door. You're really in it to benefit them. You're in it, and that's the picture you want to show. You want to focus on them. And I do that myself with my own business. I want chiropractors to know that it's not even about them. I literally say this to my prospective clients. I say, it's not even about you. I'm not in this for you. I'm in this for your patients. Mm-hmm. I'm in this for people like me who took years to find what I found a lot quicker. That's literally why I do what I do. And it's the same thing with the chiropractic industry. Like, I want you to just focus on them. When you're putting content out, speak to one person. Imagine them sitting in front of you and literally just talk to them. Just have a conversation. Don't try, because when we create content, our default is we want to speak to the masses. Don't worry about that. You don't want to try to touch every single person, every single soul, every single problem. Pick a person, speak to them. It'll work wonders. And then I have one other thought that came to mind for you guys. You have a patient log that probably is longer than Santa's naughty list. And you can take that and do a lot of retargeting. You have their phone numbers. Create a mass text campaign. There's automation behind that. I can help you with that, of course, but you can do it yourself too. There's a lot of platforms out there that'll help you do that. If you retarget those patients, whether they're patients that just, some interest was sparked or whatever, or they actually came into your door, maybe got an adjustment and you never saw them again, or they used to be a regular patient. Sometimes they need that nudge, that reminder that you still exist. Because even for me, like a couple years back, I can say a couple years because we're in 2025 now. I had some really bad inflammation in my body, walking around like an old geezer. No offense to old geezers, but I was walking around like a really old dude. It just didn't feel well. And it never sparked. Go see your chiropractor. But then finally it clicked. I went 2 weeks later. I'm like 100% better. It was crazy, but you'll get those people to come back in, because honestly, you're not at the forefront of their mind. So use that patient log, retarget. You'll get a lot more people in your door, and you'll make a bigger impact on your community. That's the whole goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
we do a reactivation campaign, typically at least twice a year. Sometimes it happens quarterly, depending on, what kind of season we're in and where we're at.
Yeah.
It's a really good
that's
way
good.
Going back into.
Awesome. I love it.
Retouching the people that you already have relationships built with. And man, seeing them, it's like coming home. It's like prodigal son, It's really heartwarming when they come back and you can help them to the next level.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of a challenge question for you.
Sure.
So a lot of chiropractors have a really hard time maintaining a strong online presence, because you got to manage reviews. There's the local search results that you got to optimize. What's been the biggest challenge in building and maintaining your practice's online visibility, and how'd you overcome it, or did you overcome it?
I think that one of the biggest challenges is like the algorithms. They just change so frequently. And, I think that once you get like decent at one and you start to get some foot traction, it's like Google decides to go change their mind again. And same thing with, Mega, or Facebook or whatever they call the big entity over there, Meta. They're just so big for their britches. Like, we've been hacked into the back end and, like been kind of hostage for we've been like in this radar of like 2 years being hostage, and like, you can't talk to a human being.
I know, it's crazy.
You can't even email to be like, hey, I'm in my account, but it's hijacked and I can't log out and I do. My business profile is going to get messed up, and like all of the things that, when you have a monopoly like that, it's just, you're kind of stuck with their aspects. I think that's been, at least in the last couple of years, has been one of the bigger challenges that we've experienced, is that aspect. And just do the best you can. Throw some more ads into there. Go and learn from the next person, go and learn from the next specialist that is, better at that. Because, in all honesty, I'm better at taking care of people. I'm not better at that. That's not my job. Please, Jesus, don't let that be my job.
And that's where folks like myself come in. And we can help you guys out with that. Not you, Dr. Arminta, because you got it figured out. Let me tell you.
Well,
so
I am
so impressed,
Always
honestly.
room for growth.
Yes, 100%. But I really am impressed with what you guys have going on. I think it's the team that you have also.
Without
I
a
think
doubt.
that's big. When it comes to the business, the marketing, all that, it really does take a team to grow your business. For those chiropractors out there that are trying to do it themselves, you might be okay for like the first year, maybe, but you're definitely going to burn yourself out.
Yep. Culture needs
That's
your
yeah.
your patients need a team culture to come into.
That's right.
Without a
That's
doubt.
right.
Mhm.
A family / team culture. And in order for you to do that, you need to be relaxed. In order for you to be relaxed, you need to delegate. In order for you to delegate, you need to know who to delegate to, and you need to trust people. So there's a lot of these things that kind of have their tentacles within each other, and just their, so it's important. It's important for you to grow your team. And if you can't grow your team, there's ways around that. Again, that's where, sorry, but I'm plugging cyber adjustment again, but that's where people like myself come in. And I don't want you guys to struggle. Okay. Yeah, that's been awesome. Thank you for sharing your expertise. I want to speak a little bit as we kind of wind down here a little bit. I want to speak on kind of your vision, your future goals, like where you see Achieve Balance Chiropractic, which, oh my God, I literally just realized it's ABC.
Yep.
Just saw that. That is brilliant. Okay. Where do you see ABC heading in the next 5 years?
Oh man. Continuing to do what we're doing now. How do we refine it? How do we polish it? How do we take care of the people that are in front of us even better? How do we get even better at adjusting? How do we get even better at retention? How do we get even better at communication? And so going and learning from experts to polish us or sharpen us, however you want to look at that, but continuing to do what we've been doing. We are really big into students within our office. We are here at a university area. And so we have interns that come and intern with us that are interested in being chiropractors pretty frequently. So we have one gentleman that interned here. He is in, I want to say he's probably in try 7 or so over at Logan. And then we have another gal that interned with us that she's in try 2 now. And then we have another one that's with us that's going to be starting in 1 year from now, her chiropractic education on the doctoral level. And so it's just trying to continue to go back into the profession because we need more chiropractors to be successful.
Sure.
And we just need more chiropractors out there. We need more hands on spine,
Agreed.
period. And so that's one of the aspects that we'll really continue to polish. One of those students is really interested in coming back and learning from us and becoming an associate again. So we're going to nurture that relationship and bring her back into our office once she graduates so we can train her up and potentially create a second office. I don't know if it's going to be a second location or what we'll do is set up her in a location that I'll own and she can buy from me later or something along those lines so that we can expand the territory within our state of the culture that we've created and the ideas that we've had because that girl, she's got some spunk to her. She's going to be really successful at what she does without a doubt.
That's so cool.
If we could sew into her and help her get a leg up on expanding when she has the knowledge and the desire to do so, that would be, that's definitely in the next 5-year opportunity as well. So we're really, again, just polishing what we're doing.
I love that. Are you looking to implement any new services, technologies, maybe?
I'm always kind of looking at stuff like that, like I love the biohack world, so we have Like I'm big into sauna and cold plunges for myself. That's just my jam. I really
Hmm.
enjoy that technology and how it makes my body feel. And can we bring that in and maybe we have this beautiful space in our office that we stood up against some woods in the back of our building. And so could we put a sauna outside that faces these woods? Could we put a cold plunge outside that faces these woods? So it's not within our office, but it's still on our facility.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see if that, becomes an idea. Again, you don't want to go too far away from the main thing of the main thing, which is the nervous
Of course.
system and supporting it through chiropractic care. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Actually, that's a really good point. Not kind of getting too far away from the nervous system, because I see some chiropractic offices who are making a difference.
mhm.
Not speaking ill of them, but they're doing a little too much, if you ask me. Like, I feel like, yeah, massage therapy has its place. All that stuff is important and it's good. But then they have the massage therapy, and they have a physical therapist, and they have a nurse practitioner, and they have a. I think if you focus on what you do best, just you can still work with those different disciplinaries, but maybe outsource instead of trying to do everything, because then you start to lose the kind of the meat of it, you know?
There's so much about that what you just said that is so very, very important because, if you have it
Yeah.
all in house, which is great, that doesn't mean you don't get the opportunity to go out in your community,
Yeah.
and we have to look at it like understanding that, um, I'm not the best at everything. I'm not everything for everyone. And
Mm,
more than one we need to have more than one um, mentor and leader on our wellness journey. And there's room at this table for multiple of us. I think that where we get into a crux in our profession a lot of the times is like, oh, chiropractic can heal it all. And we get this egocentric aspect of like, no, I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm going to do my thing really, really good.
yeah.
And then can we
Yeah.
bring in like I like nutrition? We're great at nutrition to a certain extent. But once
Hmm.
we get past some of that broad stroke stuff
Hmm.
and we get down into nitty gritty, then I need to send you somewhere else because
That's right.
that's not my specialty. And
That's right.
same thing with movement. Like I can broad stroke you, we can talk about that, but then it's like then you have to go and do.
Yeah.
And that's not our facility. That's somebody else's
Yeah.
facility that we trust and that we will refer you to. And that becomes a
Yeah.
great partnership. And part
Yeah.
of what we do is partnership. If you get into a partnership with, um, a training facility, we have this great training facility that both me and my husband work out at. I'll plug Evolve Fitness all day long. They are really, really good at what they do here in our community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do a lot of referral back and forth with them just because they are, I think that they're the best. So they're going to get
Yeah.
the people
Yeah.
that we're going to send them. Our people deserve the best, so we'll send them there.
Sure.
Anything with
Yeah.
like nutrition, we have a couple of nutrition therapists and some functional nutrition practitioners. So like it's time for you to go get deeper testing.
Yeah.
We've got a nurse
Yeah.
practitioner that we're like, that's not my job. Let's go get some blood work done. This is who you go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way we can put
Yeah.
this person between all of us, and I can have a conversation with all these other practitioners about
Yeah.
this
So
one
good.
person so that we can get them better instead of like, I'm going to work on you, this part of you, and you're going to work on this part of you. And I'm going to work, and nobody ever talks to each other. It drives me freaking crazy. Can we
Yeah.
put this human, this soul in between us so that we can all
Yeah.
help them rise? And when they rise, we all rise. And can we have that kind of symbiotic relationship?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I wish more people thought like you did, Dr. Arminta. That's really good. So
You do it all. I
you
could burn out. Talk about burnt out. Oh my God. Burnt out.
I get it. I understand. I really do. Maybe not from a chiropractic sense, but I do understand where you're coming from. So you're a chiropractor. You're a business owner. You're a mom. You're a wife. You're a friend. You're a family member. You're a neighbor. You're a lot of things. How do you balance your passion for your patients, for the patient care, with the demands kind of running a business and running your life?
I think that having a support team is like the most important part of that. Like, I could not do what I do without my husband being right here by me, doing what he does. So he manages our office. He is all things front desk, all things back of the house, so that he can leave myself and Dr. Alex to doctor and to take care of that part and to be the educator. So having him and being as good at what he does and having the heart that he has, and then the individuals that we've been blessed enough to be able to be surrounded by. I don't know how God has landed us this team that we have right now, but it is the most delicious agape cohesiveness that I've ever experienced in my 15, 17 years of doing this. I love every single one of them. They are just fantastic at what they do. The heart is in the right place. And so that's how I found this ideology of work. And I take days like today to do like it's Friday here, and when we're recording, so our office is closed on a Friday so that we can catch up with paperwork. We can have rest to come quiet. I don't want to burn my team out. I want us to all do this for a really long time together. And so just limiting the amount that you do, I think, is important too. And again, honestly, you can't be everything to everybody. It's really important. Chiropractic is hard too, because like with me and my husband both working in running this place together, when we go home, it's hard to turn it off. Let's just be really real. Like, we catch ourselves in our bedroom at 10 o'clock at night talking about ABC all the time. Or, we're brushing our teeth in the morning and we're talking about ABC. So it's just kind of woven into who we are. And, we feel it to our soul of like chiropractic. Like, we don't separate ourselves from it because it's our lifestyle. It's who we are. Yeah. And so that's the component of that is like one of the bigger things is helping not understanding that it's part of part of the sole purpose of why I've been called to do what I do. And when I take the hat of chiropractor off and I put the hat of mom on, it's just we still do it with the same kind of principles behind it, the same foundation of like, God family chiropractic and what we've built our home on. Because my practice is not my practice. My practice is God's practice. I get to be here and serving it every day, but it is so much. It is not, I don't own this thing. He owns this thing, and I will forever be grateful to be able to care for it. And the time that I get to care for it before I pass it on to somebody else that has that same vision, and hopefully it becomes one of my babies, but who knows?
So what's one big goal that you haven't achieved yet, but you're determined to reach it? And do you have anything kind of lined up, any milestones ahead of you that's going to take you there?
This question's hard. I was hoping you were going to skip over this one. But this one's kind of hard because, you put your vision out there. And again, like God's, like, I gave this practice to God a long time ago. And when it comes into the fruit and you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm standing in the middle of the vision that I had 20 years ago. Yeah. And like, for the last couple of years, it's like, now what? And so like, we're still serving and we're like continuing to polish what we're doing, but I don't know what God has in store for me all the way quite yet. I had an interesting opportunity. A couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, I really wanted to be a speaker and a coach within the profession because it's just a really, it's full of amazing speakers and coaches that we all really enjoy to learn from. And I think that I've got really something special and unique to give out, potentially. But it just, I think that it's a not now thing. I think God hasn't really opened that door, that space for us yet. And we'll see if that's something that he fruits into. So, I've spoken at a couple of conferences, and actually just last week or this week got invited to speak again, just out of the blue, at
Oh,
a
wow.
big boy conference in Washington State, Chiro Fest, put on by the amazing Paul Reed. He's such a good man. And I don't know where that leading was that Paul felt in his heart to reach out and ask. And I'm praying like crazy to see what God wants me to say up there to those people. And taking those opportunities, and then what's going to be next? How can I surrender even more?
I love that. Just the fact that you keep mentioning God and Jesus. And I mean, I'm just in a world where we have to hide our faith or are expected to hide our faith. I love that you're letting your light shine. I do the same. I've actually lost connections because of it, but I love that. I love that about you, Dr. Arminta, and I believe God is using you. I believe that I can see you standing in front of thousands of people and speaking and coaching, and your heart for this is just amazing. So I really love that. I can't wait to see what God does next with you. He's already doing some amazing stuff, but this is really cool. Hey, I want you to send me that info, what you were invited to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to learn more about that, to be honest. What kind of information or what kind of speech or talk will you be giving?
I think I'm going to tell my story and like the fullness of it. And I think it's going to end up landing on hope, faith, and that nothing's a mistake. Like there's purpose. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
There's so many times that it's like, you think that you're at the end of your rope, and it's like, oh, nope, I'm just leveling you up. And it is like how, like, and can you sit in the expectation? Can you think big? Can you not play small? Like, golly, we just have so many people in this world that are playing so small that, can I rip that fear right off of you? Can I tell you to do it anyways? Can I push you through that door and like, just to remind you that you're going to either get wings to be flown or you're going to get something sturdy to stand on. It happens no other way. You are not let alone in this profession. Like, the major premise is like that there's a universal intelligence in all things maintaining an existence. That means we're held. That's not chiropractic philosophy. That's not even a God philosophy. Like, wow, they're so intertwined. And so I can't separate what I do from the spiritual part of what I do.
Sorry.
It's spiritual. Like, when you drop in on a patient, when you're at I gotta plug another group of people. Like, Centropy Chiropractic, they are a group of adjusting. They're two individuals, Aaron and Patrick. They are fantastic educators on neurology and technique and how to level up your adjusting skills. And their major component, and when you're in their seminars, is a drop-in where you get present with that person and you get really right here. And then my first coach, you see the bone move before the bone moves. You visualize it. You understand that you're really just a facilitator, and you're in it to be in it, and then you're getting out of the way to let the magic work, because the magic happens after your hands leave the body.
Yeah. You, sorry, I was taking, wow, I was not expecting that. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Whew. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it. Don't be sorry.
There's there is a purpose. And there's a purpose for your pain. There's a purpose for your walk. For all of us, I don't care what profession you're in. I'm sorry for getting so emotional, but oh wow, sorry. This is definitely the first time I shed a tear on my podcast. I guess first time for everything. Thank you for that. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. There is a purpose. Just see it through. God's going to get you through it, and God's going to use it. And you made a comment, I think that is more profound than you might even know that it's a profound comment. But you said you put the work in, but then you step back, and the magic happens after. It's kind of the same thing in business. It's the same thing in life, where you put that sweat equity in because you're building the foundations and the core and the roots. And you just step back at one point, and then you watch it just launch. Yep. And that can be applied to a lot of different areas in our life. So that's so profound to me. But again, sorry for...
Don't be sorry.
For getting so emotional, beautiful. But thank you for that. What motivates you? What keeps you going? I mean, obviously you're growing this business, you're making an impact, but what's motivating you to do all that?
You see the people change. You see the shift happen. And I think that the big thing is, like, we're in this world that is so toxic and so sick and so connected to outside in. And can we be a light of something different? Can we do that so that we can start to see the shift that man, you hear this in the profession all the time. Right now, that's time to be a chiropractor. You hear, like, I've been hearing that for 20 years, but I really believe in my heart that right now is the time to be a chiropractor. We have so much momentum behind the philosophy and the, what we've been preaching for 120 years, we have so much momentum behind it, and we really are, in a place that people are starting to realize that there is validity and hope in natural health care, and that medicine is for emergencies because it's God's rightful place. Praise God for it. Thank God for medicine. Jesus, thank God for it. But like less invasive to most invasive, can we start down here? And then if we have to come up into the more invasive routes and working with the intelligence of the body instead of trying to direct the intelligence of the body. Like, you have to support this because it's smarter than you. You can't be like, I'm going to take you and I'm going to move you here. Then there's going to be another process that comes and tries to figure itself out, because innate intelligence is so smart. It's way better and way brighter than we are. And if we can stay with it, then...
Yeah, that's good. This has been amazing. This discussion has been wonderful. I really do love the insights that you brought. This is the first time I've been brought to tears on my show. So what the heck? I mean, seriously, don't do that. Stop. No more. But honestly, it's been great. I've been moved on my show before. Especially when I talk about my kids. I haven't shed a tear yet, so that was very powerful for me. Thank you. If nobody gets anything out of this and just me, I'm good. But this has been great. I just one question for you. Maybe two more questions for you. So you have prospective patients, you have chiropractors probably interested in talking to you and connecting with you. What's the best way for them to reach you and maybe learn more about your practice?
So our Facebook page is probably the best ways to connect with us, get an idea about our culture, what we do, kind of get a feel for the vibration of our office. And that's Achieve Balance Chiropractic, and it has our phone number behind it, so so you can recognize that. We have an Instagram, a page. It's at ACHBL Chiro. Our website is achievebalancedchiropractic.com. And through there, you can email us questions, connect. I'm always up for talking to other docs. Like, we need more docs in this world to have certainty when they're walking and talking into a patient, so that they can have the gumps to lead that patient from A to B, and help them reconnect to themselves. And so I'm always happy to chat and talk with folks. And if you're a patient and you have questions, always open book. How can we serve you?
Awesome. Guys, if you didn't see Dr. Arminta's heart in this podcast, then you weren't listening and you weren't watching. So if you guys want real care, I mean, just based on this one discussion, I know that she and her staff have your best interest at heart. Please reach out if you're in her area. Honestly, you have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. I will have their contact information in the description anywhere you're listening or watching this, whether it's on YouTube or the 15, 20 channels that, the audio, it's going to be there. You'll have the contact info as well. If you weren't able to write that down, or if you don't want to write it down. But let's leave with this. Let's end with this. For listeners who are small business owners, what's one actionable step they can take to improve both their health and their business success?
Think about what you think about. What's your mindset? What's your perspective? How we see something is how we see something. And if you see something in a negative fashion, can you change your perspective to shine some extra light on it? You flip the scenario on its head so that you can see it differently. Because when you can see it differently, it becomes not a barrier anymore. It becomes an opportunity to step into. And I think that's, our mind controls so much of, you can think yourself sick and you can think yourself healthy.
Yep.
And that comes into our body and into our business at the same time. So quit your thinking.
Yeah. That's good advice. Dr. Arminta, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure.
My pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond Adjustments. A huge thank you again to Dr. Arminta Phelps for sharing her expertise, her journey, her passion for wellness. I mean, if you want to learn more about her practice, visit her site. Again, I'll have all that in the description below. And if you enjoyed the episode, or even if you groaned at my dad jokes, be sure to subscribe. Leave a review, share it with someone who might need an adjustment in their life. Yes, I meant that one too. Oh, and one last thing. What's a chiropractor's favorite type of music?
I should know this one. I should know this one. Nope, don't have it. Go for it.
Hip hop.
Oh, good. I'll have to give that to Dr. Alex and Chris to make sure that they add it to their dad joke repertoire.
I can't. The fact that I make myself laugh. Anyway, I'm officially done now. I promise. Apologies, or maybe you're welcome for the humor. But until next time, stay aligned, stay balanced, and stay cracking. Figuratively, of course. Cue the music.